Hello, my good friends. It's Roger, Mudfossil University. And what are we looking at here? To me, I see legs. She got legs. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know about you. Now, I got this from Tish Egerton, my very good friend. And she said, I got legs. And I said, well, let's see what you got, Tish. So we got together and we did a little work on the internet together, and we went through this in quite good detail, and she's right, she got legs. Now, that is not your average leg. That is a leg of some creature that is a hominid. That's a foot. It would be like this, obviously. The leg would be standing like this. These are springy little things. They're little torsion springs, and she found a ton of these. I mean, she's got a batch of these. She found a village. It takes a village. Now, I mean, it's a leg. What can I say? It's a leg. So let me show, and I have some too. Now, the reason she went out and found it's the same thing everybody did. They said, "Oh, this guy's yelling about this and that. You can go out and find him in 15 minutes." 15 minutes, she found better than this. And nobody has missed yet, so don't tell me you can't find them. Now, I want you to look at that. That right there is the cradle of the bone that sticks down, that is your leg bone. This is a torsion spring that comes back up this way, and you can see it twists this way. This is gumite. It's some kind of a gluey substance. That is a little tab with a hole in it, and it goes to a spring that runs up through here, up to this tab up there with a spring. So as this goes up this way, it starts to pull this in this way, and there's bumpers and stops in here and these springs, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Somebody built this. And then there's the tendon strap that runs right up to the bone, and there is your calcaneal, your heel. Now I'm going to show you that I have the proof to prove what I'm saying. I'm telling you, Tish found a ton of them, and these are all feet, and they're all in different decay modes. Now, originally that would have been flat. There wouldn't have been any. There would have been skin right over the top of this. And I have here a no-toe that I'll show you. I originally discovered it 2012 or so, but mine are not as well seen as these. These are eroded enough to where you can see inside of them. It's like a CAT scan. You see that right there? You see that? That to me looks like a wing nut. And I think it could be. I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, but these are engineered. I don't care what anybody says. Somebody built these. And that, to me, looks like a wing nut. And these have pads. That pad would have been like this, absolutely gigantic. When you see the one I have, you'll see. And the one I have, part of its pad is missing. Okay, anybody that knows mud fossils knows that that is red, bloodyish stuff. And that is the fabric of skin and fascia, and in this case it is the fabric that is on the outside of a no-toe. And I come down forward on a no-toe. I'll show you in a second. It's like a leathery substance, you know, and this is what it's like very close to the tip of the foot. And this is what it's like on the front of the foot, and I'll show you in a second. It's all the same looking fabric. Now, you see there's a seam there. They have seams. They actually seam together, like almost like it was sewed. I thought it was at first. Now, then I'm going to show you the toe, where the toe is here. This is right underneath where there's like a toe is exposed right there. And then I'm going to go to the fabric. I'm going to walk off of the toe. So I'm at the very tip, and I'm going to move in off of the toe up to the fabric. Now, you see where it goes from the red to the, I've got to come up with the microscope. All right, you see it stepping off of the red? Let me see if I can get back there. You see that's lower? And we're coming up now. I have to readjust it. Whoops. Whoops, gotta come up this way. Come way up. It's hard to get adjusted as it's transitioning between one step to the other. Anyway, that's where the toe is, and then it comes back up to this stuff up here. I have to adjust it back up right there. You see? Now I'm going to try to walk it off. There it is, right there. That's the step. Anyway, now let's look at what that thing looks like in the light of day. Okay, that is the no toe that I was just showing you in the microscope. And this is the fabric that coats the whole thing. This is the toe that is exposed. You see the line of the fabric that's exposed there? And then this is the front that I was showing, and there's a seam. These seams run like it was glued together, literally. Now, this had a tibia and a fibia, and the tibia came down here, and it mounted right there. There's a spot right there, and then the fibia comes down on the side, and it's not anchored to anything other than a strap, and they fall off just as flat as a pancake. And I have other examples. It's not the only one. And the bone right there is very difficult to catch that in the right light where you can see that that is the bone, but that is where the bone was. You see, if you follow up that little white line, that's where it bleeds out. And this is where you see blood. Same on you. You have blood right there on the front of your foot. If you look down, blood runs all over the front of your foot. So these are not exactly like humans, but they're not. I mean, they're not like humans at all, I guess, but they have a humanish look, and they would stand up. That would be a hominid to me. Now, this pad underneath here, you see the one? Remember I showed you one with Tish? She had like almost like a wing nut there. That's blood right there. Now, blood is running out of there, just like her wing nut was there. And that would have had a pad just like this, absolutely balloon-like. This thing would have been walking up like this. They are unbelievably balloon-like. And I have other ones that show that. I'll see, maybe I can show one later or next time. I don't think I have any in the shop right here. But that pad would have gone right around like this. Unbelievable. All right, there's a giant no-toe. This is that gummite, I believe. And now this is actually the creature, and I think that it might be his heart. This is what was over in Australia. They cleaned it all out to build something there. The guy told me, so it's all gone. But that's a foot. And that's that calcaneus ball in the back of the foot. We have one too. They were built a little bit different, but not a whole lot. And they went through a whole batch of different construction phases. I don't know what happened there. But Tish's are a little bit different. Mine are just completely rounded. This guy obviously wasn't rounded. I don't know. Maybe they were just all different species. I have no idea. I see that's to me, it's a different style. That's where the toes would have been up here. This is the gummite pads that were underneath. These pads were just huge. You see that? And this is like the streamlined model. I'm telling you, they just changed. That's where the bone would have gone in the back. And the toes are broken off. And the fabric that would have hung over there is falling down there. And Tisha's got some similar to that. She got a ton of stuff. She got tools, she got bones, she's got organs, and all from the same spot, right on the surface. She found them in 15 minutes from seeing one of my videos. Unbelievable. She's a mineral dealer and fossils and all that kind of stuff. And she went out with her husband 15 minutes. And not one single person has told me they didn't find a mud fossil within 15 minutes. It's like you cannot do it. You can only do that if you're in the water somewhere. Anyway, that's just a fact. Every one of these rocks is a mud fossil, regardless if it just looks like this or it looks like that. These were parts of some kind of a creature. I'm telling you right now, I have studied the hell out of this, and I know what I'm talking about, and they are all parts of creatures. You see this? Remember I told you the springs run through and up. I believe this is another Noto, one of the torsion springs. And you see what I see? It's not the Antikythera machine, but it's they built people out of something. I don't know what they did, but somebody built that. That is not a biological device, I don't think. However, some of the biological devices are absolutely amazing. You look at a flagella, absolutely phenomenal. All right, that's flagella. They go around it through your body and they spin using a literal machine. All right, you saw the little critter on the move. That's the filament up that end, and here it goes. Now, if you follow the filament down into the machine, and that is the machine that's running in that body. All right? That to me is a machine, and these are electrodes, and there's different cell membranes and layers and electrical potentials, and it's literally a motor that drives that, and it's being done by a single-celled creature, a bacteria. All right, I might have mentioned before, if I haven't, she was out here, 15 minutes, went out and picked up, that was a foot was in there. That's a bone. That's a bone. There's bone bits everywhere, and she just picked the bone up, the foot right out of there, and then another one was right on the other side. And then she went out back later and picked up a bunch more, and then she went out back and picked up a leg. I'm going to show you a bunch of more stuff. Very, very amazing. And we try to present this to universities. Not one contacted us back. And this goes back, I don't know, it's got to be a couple of years now. Yeah, see, June 20th, 2017. All right, I've been talking about how enormous the pads are, and that is a pad. The top is eroded off, the toes are gone, the heel is still there, and I'll show you from a different angle. Where do you see this? All right, here it is from a different angle. Before we were looking this way, and that's that huge pad. Look at this. That looks to me like it's some kind of metal bar in there or something, and that is the heel. That's the heel bone right there. All right, what is this? Now, I have not had these in my hands. These are Tish's, and she's out in a whole nother section. She's out in Missouri. But we did a lot of work on this, and we had a lot of videos, spent a lot of time. I got pictures coming out of my ears, and that's the pad right at the bottom. Now, that bolt would have been down here somewhere. Maybe, that's the heel bone. That's blood. And I showed you that other big one that was out in Australia that they had the gumite pad underneath, and I said maybe there's a heart in the back. You could see that heel bone in that one. Same thing. Only, of course, that was obviously huge. All right, you saw my no-toes. That is the side shot showing the heel, showing the strap that leads up to the stirrup that holds the bone. These are the springs that twist up this way, then it engages the second one, then they come back by themselves. They replace the tendons in us. This is the heel right there. And this is the strap. And that's the heel, and this is the strap. Of course, they're going this way, we're going this way. Obviously, the foot goes this way, and our foot's going this way. Now, we have all of this stuff. Totally different situation, all these straps and things. This has these torsion springs. Now, this is the foot. Remember I said there's just two like metal tabs going in? Again, I don't have these things in my own possession, and I haven't been out to Missouri, and I got so many things going on. It's been 2 years. I did a bunch of videos on this, not a bit of interest, and I feel terrible for Tish, and I feel terrible for me, and I feel terrible for you, because nobody seems to care about the reality in the university system. Absolutely not a bit of interest whatsoever. This seems to be pretty interesting to me if you're really looking for something of truth in education. All right, there's the ball on this one that I showed in pretty much all of them. All right, this is another no-toe, bits and pieces laying all over. Now look at the pattern of these holes. I mean, Nike couldn't make a better gushy sole underneath. That's a no-toe. The heel end is here, and the toes are up here. But and again, it's a no toe. They don't have toes, but they're built. The toes are inside, but they're not visible. Now Tish has some that might have the other way, but then she has some other ones like this. All right, that's a bottom, so I don't see where that is going to have to be uncovered. But you see this red? That's like iron. Now remember those plates of metal look like they were running inside of these things. That's what I can say. And that's what would happen. That's the kind of color. And that's where that little wing nut would have been. All right, there's the same one, a little closer. That's where that wing nut would have been. That is iron. That is about as iron gets. All right, and there's the whole thing at once. And that color is exactly what happens when you take an iron bar and let it rust into particles. That's what happens. Now I've shown mine. This is a footprint from Triassic age. That is the red bed. This is gray clay. That is pushed down through this red bed, and then this black cap was on top. So, and I'll show it to you right now. All right, so you see it there. Now here it is right here. All right, that is the red bed. Let me get some light over here. That is the red bed, that's the gray clay, and that is the footprint. And if you put this on there, you can see it's red. You put that on there, you see it's gray. Now, how did this get next to that, and this is red, and that's not? Watch this. That is the gray clay that this guy stepped on, and he stepped on it with a layer of gray clay atop the red bed. And I can prove that because here is the gray clay. You see that? At the bottom. And it pushed through the red bed. So it was on top of the red bed, and it pushed through, leaving the red bed around the edges. And I had the whole thing. Now, then, immediately afterwards, and I know it's immediately because these little pinchy things, and I did this, I made the experiments, I know what I'm talking about. Those, if you take wet slurpy clay and you put your hand in there and you make a vacuum and then you go, you get suck-ups. That's my own terminology. It's very technical, but it is true. And they suck right up like that. And there's that gray clay, and that sucked up. And on the edges you don't see it because your foot doesn't have the same suckiness. Anyway, so that's what it is. That's a foot, and this is the Triassic era. Now, so how do you know it's Triassic? Well, you got your red bed, you got your gray clay, and then guess what you got? Is your third layer, which is your black cap. Huh? That's it right there. Came right over here. The three of them right together, just like that. Red bed, gray clay, black cap, Triassic era. And guess what? That had to be wet, this had to be wet, and that had to come down on top of this other one, or those suck-ups would have been gone within days. So, we had, I think it's 50 million years for the Triassic, something like that. Well, for me, it's like 50 hours. All done. Triassic's over. And of course my Triassic goose was found right alongside of the Triassic footprint. And it drowned and laid flat on the ground, causing this flatness here. Let me come up with this a little bit. There's his eye, and guess what? There's his feathers. You see, anybody who knows the pattern of feathers is going to know. That's how ducks, geese, whatever it is, I don't know. But that's his neck. And if you, like, put a little water on there, you would see that that's his throat. And then the bone is right up at the top. Because that's how they move. They don't have a bone way down here. It would just drop like this. The bone is up there. And that's the feathers. And that is found within the Triassic era, too. All of this stuff I have is Triassic. And I know how long ago it happened. And you won't believe how long ago it happened, so I won't even bother telling you right now. Alright, that looks like a hip bone to me, and I'm not sure that's not a bolt. I don't know. These things were constructed. Now, this is the skin on tissues. You saw the skin on mine, it's just very similar, but this was something, it looks like it was in copper or something like that, where the white fibers in mine, this, I think, did some bonding. But anyway, I understand that pattern very well. I understand it is biological tissue, and it's external biological tissue. It's not like an internal membrane. That is skin primarily. There's another one of tissues. She's absolutely slaughtered with these things. We have nothing like that in us. I don't think any creature does. And it pivots. It pivots this way and pivots that way. And there's a torsion spring in here. All right, there's two levels of erosion. There's one that's not as eroded as this one. And I think and this is the one that has the wing nut. And it would be right there. There's another bone tissue found. She's got so much stuff. It's absolutely unbelievable. And this is an astounding discovery. That's just, I don't know. I can't believe nobody would take a look at this. A couple of years now it's been sitting. And I haven't done just one video on this. I know I've done at least several, and I've been pushing it all over that I can push it, and nobody will pay any interest. I've sent this to many universities. Not a single response. None. Zero. Okay, my good friends, outstanding news today. John Slutton down in the Amazon, right in the heart of the Amazon jungle, is going to open Mudfossil University. He had Mudfossil Museum and decided to open up a full university with the museum in addition and train the students down there, a regular university. And it's going to be starting very soon. The construction's almost done. He had this all done, and there was a museum going on, and I guess there was a lot of interest, and he decided to build a university and to go along with it, to train people. Because they took a very sharp interest in this down in Peru. They have a deep understanding. These are shamanistic people. They're tribal people. They're people of the forest, and they understand these things very well. And they don't laugh. So that's phase one of the good news. Now, I'm going to show you about, something. All right, this is a foot inside of a moccasin. I got this from a guy up in Canada named Curtis Franklin. Apparently his father found it in Montana. And his father apparently did highlight the stitches with a black magic marker. Now I would bleach it out and try to get it out of there, because bleach won't hurt anything. It doesn't bother anything that I know of. I do it with my stuff. All right, there's another shot. There's obviously where when the bones break, they do what's called bone black. It's something in the ferritins, which are the heavy irons within the marrow. Anyway, I mean, you can see it, and I guess his father did put some black magic marker on there. Now, what I see here is the thing came up and folded down. I think these are flaps. So it was up like this, and they fold them down. Maybe there's a tie around it, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to leave it on this note. John down in the Amazon is going to have the first people that are trained in reality. That's a fact. He's going to have the first university that's based in reality. Now, if somebody in the academic arena wants to get through to me, that would be good. It's Roger, with no D, at mudfossils, all one word, .com. Now, we would like to set up branches of Mudfossil University, and of course, if you're going to use the name, you'd have to conform to to some kind of standards of very inexpensive tuition, and hold it to the standards of truth and reality. And anyway, everything's going to change. Somebody's going to change it. There's going to be people are going to be on top of this, and there's going to be people be on the bottom of this. Right now, academia is deep, deep, deep underneath all of this. They're underneath whale defecation at this moment because they just don't want to have any intention to do with it. And everybody else is clamoring for this that I see. And it's trying to be stopped. That's the key. Unbelievable. You know, if reality becomes the fantasy, which it is now, then we got a problem. Because when reality is a fantasy and fantasy is a reality, you know, it's not good. It's not good.